Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of Women of Inspiration. I know it's been a while since we've had an episode, but I'm really excited to bring Krissy to you today. Krissy is all the way from the Philippines, and she's going to share her inspirational story. The little bit about what I've heard is she's a really inspirational woman. And so, Krissy, I want you to share with us where you are in the Philippines, what province you're in, and what kind of work you do there. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris, but people know me and call me Krissy as their endearment term for me. I'm 31 years old, and I am now serving in a certain village, which is quite, I think it's 1 hour away from our place. Our place is known, it's just a small city, which is known in for the majestic Mayon volcano as part of our tourism. And I used to teach in a public school. Before pandemic, it was my first time to be sent in a public school after my after studying education, secondary education. But prior to my course, I was graduated in I already took course in information technology, and after that I worked for 3 years, and then I came to know the Lord when I was 22 years old. And when I was working in Manila, there are people who are sharing word to me, and I just felt to look for a Bible-based church. And it was December 23, 2012. And from there are the people in the church helped me to grow in my faith. Even I'm just a foreigner in their place. Even I wasn't really who really grow up in their place. They really I just felt their care, their sense of love, and also how they encourage me in the word. And I just keep on going back to the church. There for 2 years, they discipled me when I was working in Manila, the capital city of the Philippines, which I don't have any people that I really knew in that place. And my faith grew in that place. And there are there are companies while going to the church, there are companies that I am applying, and I experienced so many rejections while
Mm.
applying. And but I just keep on praying to God to find work, because during that time, um our family, our economic status in our family, it's not really, we are not really earning well, because my dad went home to heaven during that time. And my other siblings doesn't have much work, stable work. So I was forced, after graduating for 2 years degree, I was not totally forced, but I'm just determined to look for a work in that
Mm.
city, which cannot provide in our province. So from there is a church who helped me in my faith. And upon applying for so many positions online, I received so many rejections. I wasn't granted, or I wasn't chosen to be part of their company. And
Mm.
for the last time, there was this agency that I didn't knew that they are looking for a secretary. And it was in the prestigious school that I never knew that it was existing for 100 years, which is a very
Wow.
known school in our nation, in the Philippines. But I really doesn't have idea in that kind of school. I was really a province girl, so innocent. I really don't know. And when I got there, I was looking 2 months for work, and the position. that I am applying for, that I was granted, is also vacant for 2 months. For two
Oh,
months.
wow. Mm.
And then I thought it's just maybe God's answer for me during that time. And that work really taught me in how to organize, how in terms of management, even not just in work, but even in my personal life. And it taught me now in my mission work, in in that work that God allowed me to work, that really equipped me and honed me where I am now. And after working in the capital city of our place, there's just this void in my heart that that cannot fulfill, or cannot be um something that I cannot find in work or any material things in this world. I was looking for that emptiness, that sense of purpose of my life. That
Mm.
I remember, I kept on crying to God every time I went home after work, because I really felt that um every time that I go to work, I cannot find my existence, my purpose of where I am.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
just kept on praying to God to lead me to that kind of work where I will have this kind of sense of fulfillment, where
Mm.
um, of how He made me. And after that, I decided um to to quit on that job and went home on on by the month of June 20, um I think it was 2015, and I decided to study again education. And I finished my second course for almost 2 years and a half, and graduated just last 2018, and took my board exam, my license, and I just passed by the grace of God, just one time. And I had also
Mm.
the opportunity. I had God also gave me the opportunity to teach in a public school for 3 months in grade 9, and then from there, there's also this kind of um I felt like, yes, I want teaching, but the place where God placed me is not the place where I see myself for a long time.
Mm.
And I just really pray to God that He lead me to the place where He wants me to teach. And by the year of 2020, there is this lockdown by March, where I also finished my substitute. There is this place where my pastor um asked me to do outreach. And from there, he asked the village if they want me to teach in their kids. It was December 2020. And from there, I didn't expect that the ministry will be now 1 year and 5 months, 5 months doing the children's ministry in the midst of pandemic. And yeah, that's the start where I became a missionary teacher. And
Wow.
the village, um, they have really positive feedback about the word, about what we are doing in their place. That before, it was the kids there keep on quarreling, keep on saying bad words, but now they have awareness of what's good and bad, and they have really they see the changes in their kids, and how they are now molded in the image of Christ, and how they are being familiar of the word, that before they haven't heard the gospel, but now
Mm.
they are open about it, and they are really have a warm welcome towards missionaries, toward pastors, toward um, people who are working in the Lord, those who are serving in the Lord. And I just
Mm.
really praise God that even in the midst of pandemic, that I don't any support from the church, because normally when you are sent by your pastor to a certain village to the mission, the church should have support to what you are doing. But since our church is not really um, well off, or not really have that much capacity to sustain us in the village, by the grace of God, He allowed me to do tutors in our city before going to the village, so that I can pay for my expenses, for
Mm.
even in the expenses in the village, even the snacks that we are bringing to them, and also the needs of the family. And And by that certain amount, small amount, I can see how God really make it enough for all of us, for just that kind of um small amount, just like five fish and two five bread and two fish. And the Lord is really working in all of us in just small amount, that we become grateful and thankful, and that even we don't have enough much money, or we don't have bigger support from the church or other NGOs or non-government organizations, we are not really dependent on those things, that we can work on this ministry if they have support us. But even they don't really support us, but we are welcome in case they are willing to help us, because that will really make a great impact to the village and to the
Mm.
family. How can it change lives, those people? But
And how big is the village, and how many families are there that you are working with their children? So I'm assuming it's a small village school,
yeah,
and the
it,
children come to the school.
mm.
And how
Yeah,
many of you are teaching there?
yeah, for now, Sister Tammy, I have one assistant teacher, co-teacher,
Mm.
and last week we have a one teacher volunteer. So now we have one regular assistant teacher, and we have one volunteer for this month, that going to teach also the kids, one regular and one volunteer. And the kids there, we have now 50 kids that we are regular ministering, but there are students who are irregular, who are just um, dropping by. And the families in a certain, there is a, what do you call this one, it's like a zone, like, so it's like an area in the village.
Mm.
There are parts, so we are serving in the zone 2. They have, it's more like 50 families, but the
Okay.
village has it composed of 1,000 plus of population.
Okay. And so how old are the children that you are teaching?
We are teaching starting from 3 years old and up to 16 years old. We have two kids who has learning disability, one with Down syndrome and one with learning delay, and the rest are normal kids with I think they are kids that are left behind in their academics.
Okay. Okay. So you actually working with all those children.
Yes.
So how do you do that though? Do they all come to one classroom and you work with them, or do they come at different time slots during the day? How do you work with all those children?
Yeah. For now, Sister Tammy, we have just one schedule for now, from three
Okay.
years old to 16. But
Okay.
since now, Sister Tammy, we have volunteer, we are um, thinking to divide the class according to their age level and according to their learning level, so that it will not be difficult for us. Yeah.
Okay. And so you teach them obviously academically, and then you also teach them about the Lord. So is that sort of
Yes.
like a
Yes.
separate subject that you share with them about the Lord?
Mm-mm. Yes.
Okay. And what is the religious background of most of the people from the Philippines and even of that village? Are you welcomed into that place as a Christian, or do you first have to sort of get them to warm up to you, if you know what I mean, like to establish yourself in that place?
Yeah. Mostly the families there are Roman Catholic. The village
Okay.
is very, they are very zealous to the tradition. They have certain rituals and like ceremonies that it's part of their culture.
Mm.
Compared to our city, which is our city, it's like composed of different beliefs, but not very much particular to certain religiosity. But to that
Mm.
place, which is some kind of taboo to religious organization, I just really praise God that He was really with me doing in that village, because honestly, I don't have any background when it comes to missions
Mm.
or anything that what missionary. thing. I just want what I do. Honestly, Mrs. Certain, I just want what I do. I just like to serve and help people in in a possible way I can. And the village was really open and very welcoming whenever I was there to their place. And I just kept also listening to their concerns, to their family issues. Before I go home, I will pray with them, and I will
Hmm.
just encourage them to always trust God and to always see the good things in every situation. And before they told me that their place is always gossiping one another.
Mm,
They keep on
mm,
gossiping one another. But now they told me that they have now awareness of what's good and what's bad. That saying bad things to your neighbors is not really pleasing to God, or it's not really it's not really a good thing. But before, it's become their custom, it becomes their culture, like saying bad words or saying negative things or even just personal
mm,
issues that they use to one another. It's very normal. But now they have awareness about it, because normally the kids there in the village are part of the broken family.
mm,
So yeah,
mm.
so yeah, that's one of the sad thing in their place, because it's very normal to them. Like if they don't have a father, it's normal, which
Yeah.
not really a normal thing. And if
So a lot of
they're
orphan hearts are there, in other
yeah,
words.
yes.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Well, it sounds like you've actually come in and literally done what the Bible says that we need to do, is bring light into the darkness. Hey, like you are that light on the hill. You know, we're a city on the hill, and we can't cover that up, and we shine our light into that place where we are. And it sounds like that's kind of what you've done there.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister
No?
Rami. I hope I really
Yeah.
did.
Yes. And it's so awesome. Like I was listening to you earlier, you asked the Lord, you weren't happy to work in a job that was, so this is us. A lot of people are willing just to work in a job because it's a means to an end. But there aren't a lot of people, or maybe there are, but they never get to the point where they actually continually seek God for His will for their life. And so, God, what is your calling on my life? What is your assignment for my life? And I want to work in that area. And you seek God and you seek God until He opens that door for you and He lets you work in that area that He's actually planned and destined for your life. And even though it doesn't always look like the world's picture of what a successful job looks like or a successful career looks like, there's something, yeah, that you just know feels right.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's like God just puts you in that place where you know you belong. Like I know with the work I do as well, you know, it's not an ordinary career. It's not something that's wow, but it's something that I know that when I finish at the end of the day, I've made a difference. Or somebody's life has been touched, not because of me, but because of the work that God's done through me. And it sounds like you're doing exactly the same there where you are. And so you don't actually live in the village, right? You travel to the village every day. Am I right?
Mm, yes, yes. But before, I think I sleep there because of I s- uh, because of so many, because I was just starting, so I need to sleep there. I need to know their culture. I need to know their
Mm,
routines, because it's a village where their way of living or how to earn their income is through farming. It's an agricultural
mm,
land. So
okay.
yeah. But now, Sister
Okay.
Tammy, I go there once a week, and in the afternoon I travel back home.
Okay. Okay. And and you said that you do tutoring work that
Yes.
helps towards the finances, right? So what are the needs in the village? So if yeah, if anybody that's listening to this would like to support the work that you're doing there, or even support, the church that's doing work in that area? What are some of the needs there?
One, we have this project for the family of Lola Ason, Grandma Ason, because they are part of our Bible study, but their house is not totally a house. It's not a normal house that we live in. It's like a nipa hut composed of light materials, but it's really destroyed because of typhoons. Because Philippines is very prone to typhoon, especially in the month of December. So
Wow.
Lola Ason's house is how can I describe it? Because it's not really a house. It's just they put a light materials on the top, and then a wood for foundation, and their things are just scattered everywhere. And for them, it's a house. So, and one of her family members is mentally ill. They are four in the house, but her sister-in-law, not a sister-in-law, daughter-in-law, is mentally challenged, and they have one. She has one granddaughter, and her son, Kuya Johannes, brother Johannes, is working in the village. So also their comfort room or the restroom they don't have. They just go to river, and they don't also have a water faucet. They fetch water that quite miles away from their house, which is really tiring to look at each day. And
So they've
really,
basically opened their house up for you to do Bible study
yes,
there, and
yes,
so almost like an Acts home where they've opened up their home. There
yeah,
isn't much, but they've opened up their home
yes,
for the
yes,
gospel to be spread, is
yes,
what I'm hearing you say. Okay.
yes.
So they actually need a home, because it
Mm,
sounds pretty much it's just a shelter at the moment,
yeah,
and there's
yeah,
nothing else for them.
yeah. It's like a
Mm,
tent. It's like a tent
mm,
that it's not really a home. And then since the road widening project of the government um is now in the village, to be part of the tourism, the classroom that we use that is near to the road, it's very distracting, very disturbing during our class. So Lola Ason's house allowed us to um, transfer there for um, during our class. So I think it will be next week that we are going to use their place for the class, and at the same time um, continue our Bible study there.
okay, that's awesome. And how many children come together there, or
Normally
need to
in
come
the
together?
Yeah, we have two groups. In the lower village, we have almost 30, and in the upper group, we have 20.
Okay. So you go to different areas in the village to teach
Yes.
the children.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So, Krissy, I'll speak to you afterwards to get some details of if anybody would like to give a donation or like to contribute to make life a little bit easier there. I will get those bank details from you if you have something like that, and then I'll pop it up at the end of the video for anybody that would like to give a contribution. Okay. So I'm just going to, from my side, just reach out and say, if anybody, hears this and Krissy's story touches your heart, I want to encourage you to give something towards the ministry that she does. I can really hear her heart for people, and that she's not doing this for a big salary, but she's doing it for the Lord. And the Bible says that the workman is worthy of his wages, and in this case, her wages. And even the people that are opening up their house, for the gospel to go out. I think it's very awesome. Because I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, you know, in the Western world, we're pretty spoiled, aren't we? We basically have all the comforts that we need. And my daughter traveled through Thailand for about 9 months, and she also went to all the rural areas. And I remember her coming back and saying to me, Mommy, she said to me, we are so spoiled. She says, I went into villages where they really had nothing and they were making cloths to sell and weaving baskets. She says, and they were giving me stuff. They wanted to give me stuff. They were just so generous. They gave us food. And she says, there isn't much, but they're sharing what they've got. And so she came back and she was like, wow, there's something wrong with the world. You know, because it really is like that, because sometimes those that have the least often have the most to give, you know, and that should inspire us. Really, it should inspire us.
Yeah, it's like half of the world are living in luxury and half of the world are in misery.
That's right. It's like you've got this big divide, and yeah, there are people out there that can actually make it a little bit better just by giving a little something toward that. So I know that your story will touch others, and so we'll trust the Lord that from that something will come, also just to help the circumstances on that side as well. Okay. So Krissy, before we go and we end this, is there anything that you would like to say to the ladies to just inspire them, to give them a little something?
Know that you are loved by the everlasting love of God. I will just like to take this opportunity to ask your help. Not for me, but for the people who are really hurting, who are really deprived of their needs, who are really will be happy when even just a small thing that you can give them, they are very grateful. They are very thankful. And I believe as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, I believe God moved us to share what we can have for them. I believe when we lend for the poor, when we give to the poor, it's like we are lending it to the Lord, and He will be the one to reward us for what we are doing.
Amen.
If you have any means to help, I'm just I would like to thank you in advance that you don't know how much it can change people's life, and to draw them near to God, to believe to God because of your help. And they will really feel that there is a God who really loves them by just extending your help through whatever means that you can extend to them. And I just very grateful for this opportunity, for this platform with Sister Tammy and all of you that even personally I don't know, and even Sister Tammy really don't know me, but I just really thank God for His life and for her life, and to the ministry that she allowed me to hear my voice and to be the voice for those people here in our village, in our place. And thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, Krissy. And it's really been a privilege to have you here, because I know it's not always easy to be vulnerable. It's not always easy to share our story. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to share your story. And I pray that God will open the hearts of those that are listening to hear your heart as well, and to hear God's heart for that village and your situation. Okay.
Thank you, Sister Tammy, so much. Thank you.